Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Wednesday, February 26, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first five cards? Hold on a minute. Can I please have the first two cards in our five card spread? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are, we've got here, this is some of that heavy energy that we're experiencing. King of Wands in its reversal, in combination with our Lovers card in its reversal. So a lot of this work that we're seeing right now, as I mentioned, has to do with the observation of what can be effectively healed, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about alignment here, because a lot of this work that we're seeing, and I keep on hearing, there's a lot of work to be done in the space, and this is having a big impact on the energy and separation, on the recognition between carrying feelings for someone versus what feels like it is energetically healthy, right? And we talk a lot about this. It's when we're in a healthy space, we don't work in that space of saying, I don't have feelings for anything. Like, a healthy manifestation is not one that requires one to disassociate in the process of it. The ability to explain how one feels is often a very good barometer as it relates to how much one has healed, right? When we're in that space, when we're operating from the ego, right? When we navigate things from a place of fear, we don't want to talk about our feelings. We want to avoid them, right? We look towards others and we say, why are you creating problems where problems don't exist? Failing to recognize and realize that it's that in itself that identifies what the problem is, right? Our feelings aren't problems. Healthy relationships are literally built, like, that is the stuff that a healthy relationship is made of. And, you know, one of the things I'm seeing is, and I'm just recognizing this, and we were kind of expecting this to happen, especially after this Leo full moon energy, is when someone isn't in a healthy space, then what is very typical to happen is they feel that the feelings that they have towards another are that person's responsibility, right? Like it feels like it's like you look at the emotions like a cake and you say, you have to take this cake because I created it for you. Like, but that's the thing. We're not in that space. Like, when we're truly in a healthy space, when we honor how we feel, right? We listen to what the feelings are asking for. We communicate, we don't just talk about what we feel. We explain, we do that internal calculus to understand why the feelings are arising. And so I keep on seeing that there's a lot of this energy right now in separation that's working through that algebra, right? Engaged upon it. And one of the things that I keep on getting that is serving as help and support right now is, and it's coming through as like the transmission, especially coming through with this alignment, is this description to help one recognize whether something can heal or not. And the description I keep seeing has to do with, again, recognizing that relationships are effectively that. They are ships. And when we have a ship, like when we're in a relationship, right? The thing about a healthy relationship, much like a ship, is you know where that ship is going, right? You're in the relationship, you know what the direction is. You share the intention, right? And often, when we're not in a space of being healed, we try to build into connections and we hope for the best, right? We have those moments of saying, just get on my ship, right? Just get involved with me. Where are we going? Let's just see where it goes. Like, when you start to heal, you realize when someone says, like, let's just see where it goes. Like, that is a red flag, right? Because like, why would you just, like, why would you, and this is why we sometimes talk about like things always get complicated, because when we care, we recognize that our love is an investment in another, right? And this is why we say this. Like, this is why when we're in a healthy space, we say, I'm not just going to get on your ship. I'm just not going to get invested in you if I don't know where it's going. Because in the moment that I start caring about you, I'm going to start carrying fear for it, right? You're going to become energetically precious, right? And so when we hold each other preciously, the amplification of healthy partnership is amplified as it relates to setting those intentions. Much like a good manifestation, a good relationship is built upon what we desire and dream from it, right? And that is why we abandon expectations, right? We also abandon expectations, which is, again, when we talk about dreams and aspirations, we don't say to someone, it's conditional. We don't say to someone, it has to go there, or I'm not energetically invested. You basically say, look, we're going to set our sails in that direction, and come what may, we're going to continue to try to move towards that direction, right? And that ability of being able, like when we have that, it allows us to enjoy the experience of partnership. When we don't, then we start experiencing what is often misarticulated as, and this is a thing, like the false illusion of romance, which is feeling confused, feeling uncertain, not being sure what's happening between us and another person, right? Like, we lose our energetic taste for it when we're in a space of being healed, because it doesn't make any sense. Because when we effectively build into the context of caring about one another, the care we bring is by setting our intentions from the start to make sure that there isn't going to be a disambiguation point once you move towards someone and suddenly realize that you're moving in very different directions. So I keep on seeing that a lot of this energy right now is working through that in separation. They're doing that internal calculus. They're looking at something and they're saying, that relationship from the past, right? And this is why I keep on hearing Scorpio's helping in this way, right? Identifying the healthy relationship is one that we set our intention and we abandon expectation of the other, right? We say we are going to stay on that intentional journey and watching us evolve, watching us change. That's why we say it's a joy to see you growing in that way. But when we build into those relationships that entirely is built upon expectation, they often can feel like this force that just holds us down, because we're not living with someone, we're living for someone, right? we feel like, and again, and when someone says, well, I'm not going to move with you unless I see the changes within you, right? Like, it starts feeling conditional, like someone holds the directions like over their head and say, if you don't change, I'm not going to tell you where this is going. Like, right? Or that space that says, I feel that, like, I have a great deal of feeling for you. I really want you on this ship. But where's the ship going? I really want you on it, but where's it going? I really want you on it. It doesn't make any sense, right? And so I keep on seeing that a lot of energy is healing by looking at things in this way and saying to oneself, is that something that allows for a point? And this is why, if there's something that returned back to someone during that full moon in Leo, because I do see the fact that there was a lot of transformational energy that potentially occurred during that space. The identification of whether we can heal is not based upon how much another feels for us. It's the direction. It's what those directions are, right? It's like where the intention is. And so I keep on seeing that a lot of the energy working through that, I can feel like this energy saying, make no mistake, I can tell the difference between feeling a lot for someone versus someone feeling a lot for me versus someone giving me the gift of clarity, right? That's what partnership is. Healthy partnership is clarity. Healthy partnership allows one to set your sail against the wind. It allows you to be able to say, I can rest easy knowing that this is a direction that we're going in. And I feel like a lot of that work is leading to a lot of the energy right now. And I even see now, I see some energy making new connections in separation. Potentially articulating to another person, saying like, yeah, I cared about someone. They never gave me any clarification on where it was going. My care cannot power the ship, is what I keep hearing them say. Care is not enough to power the ship, right? And when we're in a healthy space, like that doesn't require us to say, like, I don't, like, that's why when someone says, oh, it's great, I don't care about anything in the past, you look at them and you're like, what are you, nuts? Like what are you, like, what does that mean? Like, we care even more, right? Because what we say is when we're building upon that pathwork of intention, we're able to navigate the complications as it relates to relationships behind us and before us, right? And I even see even now, like I see new energetic connections that are like having that work, like I want to say, like finding the courage to articulate upon what they desire from someone, right? It requires courage, right? It requires, like, this is energy. I see energy healing wounds of intimacy as they're building into new energetic connections, specifically and particularly because I see this energy saying, I don't want you, I want to make sure that we're headed in the right direction, right? And that's why I kept on saying that this is, remember how I said a few days ago that the energy deep within divine union is trying to find the language? Remember I said that these messages move up and down the frequencies? The work that the energy deep within divine union has been doing to heal intimacy and try to find the language is now reaching the vibration of the energy in separation, which is helping the energy find the courage to articulate upon what they want, because it's in the ability to identify, the ability to talk towards something, that they're finding the energetic connection that is simultaneously doing that same work as well. And that's why I see that there may be some energy right now that's experiencing frustration and separation. Because if I see some energy right now moving towards someone that is not energetically healed, I can hear that energy hearing someone say, what are you talking about? And someone being like, like, what are you talking about? And that's the energy saying there's nothing else to say. Like, that's the energy. Like, I feel like the energy goes, the minute someone says, what are you talking about, is the energy that says there's nothing else to say, because it's the recognition point of feeling, of identifying that alignment is being on the same page, right? And I keep on hearing, like, this is either energy that says, like, in separation, that is building into finding energetic connection by talking in this way. And that, again, if someone says, what are you talking about? Spiritual protection. Like, spiritual protection. Like, you can explain to an extent. Or if someone says, oh, are you still going on about that? It's spiritual protection. It's not rejection. This is the energy that goes, oh, if someone says, what are you going on about? Like, what are you talking about, or what are you going on about? I see that energy going, spiritual protection. That's someone who's not in alignment. Like, that's someone who's not in alignment. They're not doing the work. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, like, this is a lot of that energy that is looking at something. I told you, looking at something in a new way. And I think this is really, I got to tell you right now, I see some energy coming into divine union, saying to themselves in one way or another, I owe that person an apology, right? That's really beautiful, right? There's something, I keep on seeing that some of this energy, and here's the thing about it. I can almost hear this energy coming into immediately, like, and I see this energy navigating that loosely. Like, not, and I told you, like, not chasing after something. And this is sometimes how we get. We're like, if the day ever comes that I see that person again, the first thing I'll say to them is taking that accountability, right? Because I almost see that that's the energy that says, to a certain extent, they're not chasing after something. They recognize, like, this is why sometimes, I like to point this out, sometimes we hold, when we're in a place of healing, we're carrying a lot of apologies within us. but we're not rushing to give them to others. Why do we do that? The reason when we're being mindful, we carry the apology within us is because sometimes we recognize that when we try to apologize to someone, it like our desire to give someone apology might not be something that they themselves desire. It's self-serving, right? Like we have to recognize this. Wanting to apologize to someone serves the self. It could reopen the wound of another, right? It can reopen a wound. And so that's why I see this energy that's almost saying to themselves, should the day ever come, the first thing I'll say to that person is apologize, but I'm not going to chase after them to try to apologize because I don't want them to get the wrong idea in recognizing that my apology is trying to create some form of entry and reopening something from the past, right? Like it's giving me, like, it's interesting. I see a lot of energy coming into divine union and they're building an IOU of apologies. But they're not necessarily chasing after. They're not necessarily running to do that because running to give someone an apology is, again, when we're in a place of healing, we recognize closure is not closing. Closing is opening, right? So there's something really important to be said there. There's a lot of that, there's a lot of that discernment as it relates. I feel like this is energy that's now healing because they're finding places to carry the apologies that they hold within themselves, right? While for masculine and feminine energy, and this is all, I'll tell you right now, this is often sometimes when we start seeing things happening in the dream space, is when someone is like, I feel like sometimes you get those messages, like someone's got a letter, like someone, like that's the thing. It's like you sometimes have those, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like karmic dreams that are happening right now that are communicating in one way or another, saying to another person, we're good, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is deep within divine union, I just keep on seeing that a lot of this energy deep within divine union is, I keep on seeing the same thing, which is it's working on not getting frustrated at the self, but at the same time building upon the pathwork of setting healthy boundaries. I told you there's a lot of this energy deep within divine union that's in Renaissance energy, which is like saying, like, what happens when we're in Renaissance energy, which is like when we can't find something to describe how we're feeling, it requires new language. It requires a new way of seeing things. And so I just keep on seeing that a lot of this energy is, and it's beautiful too, because I hear the energy deep within divine union that says to each other, I love you because with you, I break the mold, right? And that's what's beautiful, which is like, it's saying to me, like, what's beautiful about that is someone saying that the ability to build forth in partnership is one, and this is why it feels like Pisces energy coming to the forefront, and that this would make sense with the Pisces new moon that's coming, which says, like, when we love someone, we say the rules don't apply to you because it's like we become each other's energetic exception, right? When we're exceptional, like everything is possible. It's very beautiful in that way because there's something about that is saying to me that this is the energy that's finding a way to navigate all of that Pisces energy. Center card for today's spread is, we've got here the Knight of Cups in its upright. So there's a lot of work to be said right now as it relates to, and I know this is going to sound a little bit, and this is the thing about it. Like, this is a lot of path work built upon focus, right? Because we've got a Pisces new moon coming and then immediately into a Virgo full moon. So what we're effectively seeing is, like, when we experience messiness, right? But we're in a space that we are looking for new ways to navigate the messiness. That's literally what we describe as expansion, right? Like we expand our minds, we expand our language, we open ourselves, right? instead of being energetically resistant to it, right? Like the healed mind is an open mind because it leaves oneself open to the possibility of what is around oneself to learn and understand. And so everything I keep seeing to a certain extent has to do with trying to communicate the benefits and beauty of that open, like that pathwork of openness. And that's why I keep on seeing that this is the energy deep within divine union, that if someone doesn't grasp that concept, I see the energy being like, when, like, this is why I see this energy that's picking their battles, right? Because if someone is not in a space, and I keep on seeing this, like when we are feeling, and this is the energy that understands that when we're operating too much from the ego, we feel like everybody around us like is going, like, needs to like listen to what we have to say. It's like, it's a lot of that work of saying, like, just do what I say instead of embodying lessons, right? And that's why I keep on seeing that there's something really important about working through Renaissance energy, which has to do with the sense that, again, when we are not getting triggered, like, we don't match energy, right? Because when we match energy, we're like saying to each other, I'm going to teach them a lesson. It's like you're not teaching anybody anything. You're backsliding. You're letting someone trigger you into mimicking them. Like, make it make sense. Like, if someone comes towards you in a way that you don't like, and you say, well, I'm going to teach them a lesson by giving them the same thing that they're giving me, all you've done is you've shown them that, like, your mimicry of them, you've already fallen off your pathwork, right? Like, when we're in a space, when we, instead of matching energy, when we're curious and we say, why are you coming towards me like that? And if someone can't answer the question, then that's the answer to the question, right? Because when we're moving with intention and someone says, why are you doing that? The healthy energy always has an answer. Like the healthy energy always has an answer. The healthy energy can always explain. Unhealthy, someone who's more triggered, someone who's not willing to do the work, is going to say, because you make me feel weird. You make me feel uncomfortable. I can't face it. So I'm going to say you're the problem. And it's like, and it's in the moment that someone says, like, it's you, what they're really saying, it's me, right? Because it's like that moment of someone saying, like, I'm not ready to embody the lesson, so I'm gonna make it your energetic problem, right? So I just keep on seeing, like, a lot of this. It's like I keep on seeing healthy compassion by means of moving forward in such a way of setting the energetic standard. While for masculine and feminine energy, that is and that's hard work. And I think what's beautiful is I keep on hearing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, circumnavigating healing occurs, right? I can see energy being like, I wish I could have this conversation with that person, but sometimes you can't. Like, that's the thing that sucks. Sometimes you want to heal something with someone and you can't because you say they're not ready for that conversation, right? And here's the thing that's beautiful about this. I see some energy coming into divine union saying it would be selfish to have that conversation. Giving someone my apology would be selfish because it would serve me, but it's not being mindful about how that might impact them. Right? Like, when we're in a healthy space, we are mindful about our energy, even when, I'm going to point this out, even when we want to give someone something that we think is good, because we understand that something that might feel good for us, right? Something that might be a burden lifted off of us might open a wound for someone else, right? Like, we're like, oh, good. It's great that it feels good for me. I'm glad I got that off my chest. Another person being like, you didn't get it off your chest. You just gave it to me, right? So that energy, like, this is why I keep on getting that space of someone of coming into that Chiron journey, which is a lot of that work in terms of identifying and recognizing and saying to another, well, I see this energy being like, I see this energy working in a space of saying, if the day ever comes that the opportunity opens itself towards it, then the first thing I will say to that person is the energetic apology point. But this is the energy that also says, but I'm not chasing after it. You see? While for because that's the energy that says, again, when we're good, we don't need to go running around giving others apologies. We wait for opportunities to apologize, right? Because even in that, we're not making it all about me. While for masculine and feminine, that is in separation, I keep on seeing this energy that's working through a space of identifying and looking back at the past. And remember, I told you that the energy coming into divine union was looking at the past. This is now the energy in separation looking at the past. And why is the energy looking at the past right now? They're trying to recognize if there's something there. Like the difference, I keep on hearing the difference between a habit and a lesson is when someone says, I'm sorry, but they're saying, I'm sorry, because they're like, it's going to happen again. I'm sorry you have to deal with this. I'm sorry you have to put up with this. Versus like, this is why I keep on saying we need new words. Sorry doesn't cut it anymore. Because when someone says, I'm sorry, it can mean, I'm sorry that you have to put up with this. Versus someone, like, again, an apology is not saying one sorry. Apology is a plan. A true apology is a plan. Right? This is how it's going to be corrected. And so I keep on hearing this energy. There's something happening for the energy in separation that's helping them understand the direction that they're moving in via the statement that a true apology is a plan. It's not just enough to say one is sorry. The apology is the plan. Fourth and fifth card in our 5-card spread is, Empress card, and it's upright in combination with our 8 of Pentacles, and it's upright, right? Because we get caught in these moments, right? We can have moments where someone's like constantly apologizing for us, and then it happens again and again and again, and they can be completely authentic in the fact that they're sorry. Apology does not indicate a desire to change, right? Like that's why we say that when we're in a healthy space, we don't say, I suck. We say, it sucks, right? Because when we're not in a healthy space, then we basically say like, yeah, I'm sorry, I suck. I never can change. I'm sorry you have to put up with this. You are like, I adore you. Like, and there's some kind of energetic connections. Like we're in a negative space, like saying to someone, I care about you because you tolerate me at my worst. This is why we build imbalanced relationships, because another person looks at someone and says, that is my love, and another person's losing patience every time that occurs. Completely different experiences of what's happening, right? Another person going, wow, my love for them grows because they'll take anything I give them, and the other person is closing. What they don't realize is happening is the other person is more and more and more, their love for that person is withering. Because every time that person goes, wow, they've just proved to me how much they can take, the other person saying, I'm not expanding. I am running out of patience, right? That's why when we're in a healthy space, we don't say to one another, thank you. We don't let ourselves like live in our worst space. We try to aim higher. We try to improve, because when we have empathy for counterpart, we say, you shouldn't have to deal with that. I'm going to improve, because by that point of improvement, I recognize that we are embodying the same experience. And that's the thing we have to talk about with relationships. There's the healthy relationship that is identified by us being in the same reality, right? The same thing is happening. But when we have those relationships where one person is being like, oh, this is great, I can just do whatever I want, and they're so patient, recognizing, and when someone says they're so patient, recognizing that their patience is slowly, their love for another person is withering on the vine, right? That it's not that amplification of someone being like, oh, it's just so divine that you're giving me the worst of you. That's something that is shrinking, right? So that ability of doing so, when we're in a healthy relationship, we say to each other, is the same thing happening? Are we experiencing this in the same way? Right? And that's why I keep on seeing that there may even be something that's happening for some energy and separation where someone's saying, like, I see someone waxing poetic, right? If someone comes back to us and they start waxing poetic on something that was an absolute nightmare for us, right? It can often be very clarifying because it feels like further affirmation and how little something has changed. Being like, you just showed me that something that I was actually actively trying to change in the midst of existing in it, you were trying to maintain. In the space of you waxing poetic on it, you're saying that that was your ideal. And so I keep on seeing there's something that's happening outside of this Leo full moon that is clarifying the distortion of reality that can occur in being within the same relationship and having wildly different experiences within it, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, this is what we talk about with alignment. Alignment is the description of having the same experience, being on the same level of the ship, right? Being on the same level, doing the same work, seeing things from the same perspective. And this is why I can see a lot of this energy looking back at the past and recognizing that that past version of self was potentially trying to change something. And sometimes when we reach something that's healthy, we have those moments of being like, wow, I was trying to change something that another person was doing everything possible to keep the same way. The reason that that effort was wasted was because we weren't pulling together. It was that I was building something up and another person was tearing it down, right? Like a lot of, like that we wanted different things. Like that's when we have that moment. And like when we're in a healthy space, we go, we want different things. You cannot be in a healthy relationship with a counterpart that wants something oppositional to what you aspire to. And sometimes, unfortunately, we hit these moments. And again, I'll say it again. One of the most important tenets that comes through from spirit, a healthy manifestation is one that you have the power of putting into words. If there's something that you cannot tell your counterpart that you desire, that you're building, then that's usually a good sign that it's not the right thing, right? Because that ability of doing so allows, like the gift of love is the communication of what you are creating together. And so everything I keep seeing here is a lot of that work. This is the energy that's healing from the past, and the healing that's coming is being able to see something with clarity that you couldn't see before. While for masculine and feminine, deep within divine union, I just see this energy just getting down to business. And what's interesting about it is it's like when we're building in a point of passion, there's no space for feelings. That's the thing. When we have purpose, like when we truly have purpose, we sometimes have to navigate our feelings, because when we build into that point of purpose, we understand that those that share our same purpose and passion, they are also doing that same work. And that's why I keep on seeing it's not about not feeling, but it's about being able, like I see this energy saying, my energy is precious. And when we are building, and here's the thing, like this is the thing that's actually happens. When we're healed, we basically say our energy is precious. And then we're mindful about it. Like we don't take others personally as it relates to the decisions that they make. We just navigate it in such a way that we're just like, okay, right? Because when we're building in that pathwork of purpose, we're just not taking things personally. And that's why I see even now, if these are situations that is happening right now for energy deep within divine union, where someone's taking something personally, like I almost see this energy having conversations of saying, if someone's taking something personally, it's often indicative of the fact that they feel like they lack purpose, right? Right? Because that's the thing. When we build a healthy partnership, we're not demanding of it. We're expansive towards it. Continuing to get clarity. And that I keep on seeing that this is a lot of energy circumnavigating, wishing to heal something by communicating honestly with another that understands that path work. It's like, it's hard. And I keep on hearing this energy, like almost apologizing for their wounds and saying, I'm sorry that you have to navigate that trigger. I know you didn't put it there, but this is often what we have to experience when we're trying to heal wounds of intimacy as it relates to saying to another, like we almost apologize and say, I know, I'm this is how I am, and I know that you are the exception, but that ability of doing so, it still requires, like, sometimes we know why we're wounded, but knowing why we're wounded doesn't heal the wound, right? Continuing to get clarification between our King of Wands in combination with our Lover's card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Yeah, a lot of this Five of Pentacles in its upright. So everything I'm seeing here, like, it's about navigating abandonment wounds right now. It stinks. And I need to point this out. There's something really important to talk about when we talk about abandonment wounds. The difference, like literally the articulation about whether you're handling the abandonment wound well can be best articulated in the difference between saying it sucks versus I suck, right? Like when we look at a situation that makes us feel bad about ourselves, but we see ourselves clearly, like we say that situation sucks. We don't internalize like the negative force, right? We also don't project it out. We don't say they suck. Like, I need to point out, like, we don't say they suck either, right? When we're in a healthy space, we don't say I suck. We don't say they suck. We say it sucks because we can see what the complication is, right? But when we're not, and that's the thing about it. Like, I keep on seeing that, like, a lot of that work, it's frustrating. Because, like, if another person isn't in that space of identifying that, then it's often having to deal with another person's projections on us. And when someone's projecting, there's really not much you can do. Do you ever notice that? Like, when someone's projecting something onto you, the more you do to try to prove it, the more you're just going to verify it, right? It's like, and that's why you have to kind of just put distance there, you know? Like, you put distance and you hope the day comes that someone can see something, right? And that's what I see even now. Like, I'm telling you now, there's some energy that's gotten farther enough away from something that they can see it clearly. That's the energy coming into divine union, which is why I hear that energy saying, I'm holding space for an apology, right? They're not chasing after someone to give it to them, like to give them that apology. They're saying, if the day ever comes, I will apologize, because that's the energy that says, I'm not, like, even here, I'm focusing on my intention, right? Right? We don't change our direction to give someone an apology, because that's open, like, that is opening something. Like, you know, like, that's the energy that says, I recognize that my desire to heal something might not feel like healing to another. While for masculine and feminine in separation right now, I feel like there's a lot of this energy in separation that's just in that space of, like I see the energy saying, it sucks, I don't suck, it sucks. The situation sucks. And that's the thing about it. Like, that moment, like the moment someone says, it sucks instead of I suck, this is the energy that says, I'm ready to move forward, right? Because that's the energy that says they understand, like, that's what we identify about understanding karmic lessons. We understand the nature of something that makes it impossible to heal. Continuing, and it frustrates us. It'll get you mad, but it also motivates you forward. Continuing to get clarification between our Lover's card in its reversal in combination with our Knight of Cups in its upright. One card to clarify. Yep, King of Pentacles in its reversal. I'm telling you right now, it's a little bit of, like, I got to tell you, it's like the cosmic shrug. I'll tell you right now, there's something beautiful about that, right? There's something about that. And, like, this is the thing I see, like, this is why it feels like Libra energy, because Libra energy, when it's in a balanced space, the balance is not scales, it's shrugging. Like it be like that. Like it be like that. Like it be like that sometimes. Like when we talk about healed Libra energy, this is why we talk about the fact that the healed Libra energy doesn't try to adjust the scales, right? Because when we try to adjust the scales, everything goes right. Like you can't balance a scale. You've got to observe something to recognize whether there is something that can be balanced versus whether it's not, right? And I keep on seeing this energy working through something in separation and saying, yeah, it frustrates me what I see, but it reamplifies the fact. It's like when we see something, like when we're in good Libra energy, like we look at something and we make peace with the fact and saying, like the beautiful thing about Libra energy is Libra doesn't try, like a good Libra energy doesn't try to bring balance into situations that feel like they're not seeking it, right? A good Libra energy is one that says they wanted something really unbalanced. And I had to walk away from that. Like that's the energy goes. It's not, there's no way to bring balance to an unbalanced situation. You have to look at it and decide whether another person wants the things that like you want. And the problem with and I'll tell you, a lot of Libra energy, they struggle with this. Be like, why won't this scale balance? Failing to recognize and be like, oh, the whole thing's off. Like it's off, the table's balanced. Like the table is like, you have to step back. Be like, no, there's no fixing that. Like, and that's the thing about it. It's recognizing, like it's in that moment of saying, we want different things. It's identifying the identifying, there's your problem. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing with the Libra energy. It's not about creating balance. It's being able to identify what the problem actually is to have something naturally find balance. And sometimes when you hit those moments, you're like, I can't. There's nothing else I can do. And that's the hardest thing, right? Because we recognize what we can change versus what we have to accept. And I see even now, like I see a lot of energy right now in separation, feeling like someone coming back towards them in the same way and saying, I can't accept those terms. Like I can't accept that. Like what you're bringing towards me doesn't feel like it's in alignment to me, right? So there's a lot of that work, and it feels a little bit like that energy, and it feels cleansing. Right? Like, and that's why I'm seeing that some of this, like, this is what we're walking towards, working through the messiness. Like, this is the messiness of the Pisces energy. And then, like, the Virgo energy going, it's navigating and understanding the difference between something that is complicated because there's a possibility to heal it versus something that is just complicated. Right? While for masculine and feminine, coming into divine union, this is why I feel like a lot of that is coming through, because this is the energy saying, I can see now, like I can see a bunch of energy going, there was nothing I could have done to change that. Look at them go. Look at them trying to change about a situation that was never going to move in their favor. Like look at this person. Like I see a lot of this energy looking back at the past and being like, this is the story of knocking on the wrong door. Because when we move towards someone, and we try to bring alignment, if someone doesn't want the same things, we often start blaming ourselves. We start saying, what is wrong with me? Instead of saying, what is wrong with this situation, right? And so I feel like a lot of this energy is healing from those spaces as it relates to looking at the past version of self that was internalizing, like was continuing to internalize something instead of observing what was and was not possible. While for a lot of this energy deep within divine union, it actually feels very much like this energy, like giving someone a piece of their mind to a certain extent. Like it's like, and I feel like what's interesting about that is there is a little bit of, I keep on saying this is energy. It feels to me like compassionate, hard conversations. Like when we, and I'll point this out. There's a difference between projecting versus feeling someone that crosses a line. And when we come into a space of like seeing someone come into a space of doing something that we feel is not for us, Like we feel like we're giving someone, like it feels a lot like that energy saying, I'm telling you something because I care about you. Right? It's like that energy that says, I feel like I see some energy being like, I feel like I see some energy being like seeing someone that doesn't recognize that when we feel entitled, it's actually what doesn't heal us, because often when someone's entitled, they don't realize that everyone around them is afraid of them, and they don't get to have lessons imparted, right? And so I see that there's like a lot of that energy that's almost like, I keep on seeing like navigating another person's distortion, right? Like navigating that space where you're like, where we can see someone clearly. And it feels really difficult because I can see that energy being like, that person's not ready to hear that. You know? Like it's almost like that. And like, that's a lot of that energy that's like venting is what I see. Like almost venting around situations where they wish they could heal something directly with another person, but also being energetically mindful and being like, this is a conversation that person's not ready to have, right? Continuing to have clarification between our Knight of Cups and the Empress energy. Can I get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. Look at this Queen of Swords. Now this is a lot of force here. And that's the thing about it. Like, it says to me, and I'm not surprised to, like, I need to point this out. And this is the thing about it. Venus is in Aries right now. And Mars is in Cancer. And so, it's a little, I keep on seeing a lot of energy that is having to say to someone, I'm not angry, I'm passionate. I would not be surprised right now if there's a lot of confusion conversations that are happening with someone talking about something fervently and another person saying, why are you mad at me? And another person saying, I'm not mad. I care about you. I care about this so deeply. It's hard not to get impassioned, right? And so that's why we have to be very conscientious right now, because the thing is, it's very hard. Like with Venus, like Venus in Mars is like, I care about you so much. Like, it's just like, it makes you mad. Like, it's a lot of that type of energy. Like, I just want to squeeze it. It's a lot of that type of energy, right? Like, and this is the thing about it. Like, when we care about someone, we feel that, like, and those who have like Venus and Aries is like, I just love so much, but I have to be gentle. I have to be gentle. I have to be gentle. Those with Venus and Aries placements are like, I just want to squeeze it because it's so cute. Be like, no, when we care about something, we have to move that into a space. And we all learn how to, especially those with Aries placements, we learn to move that in a space that we don't damage the things we care about. And I see someone going, that person never learned how not to do that. I literally see some energy having conversations about someone being like, that person never learned how to do that. And that makes and like, again, it's like, and I feel like someone being like, it's a lot of like, who raised you energy. I got to tell you right now, like, it's a little bit of that energy where I see a lot of conversations around someone being like, who raised them? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's like, oh, somebody gave them the false sense of what love is, And so continuing to get into, like, as it relates to the energy coming into divine union, like, this is a lot of that work that I see as it relates to the energy saying, this is like some energy looking back at something and saying, I was trying to explain, and that I see this energy being like, oh my gosh, I was trying to explain something awful. I was trying to talk myself through something that couldn't be changed. And that's why we see, like, and I need to point this out, like, this is what's so difficult about trauma. Like, trauma doesn't make any sense. And when we're in a healthy space, like there's nothing worse that you can bring into a traumatic situation than logic, because it'll make you feel like you're the crazy one, right? Like when something is traumatizing, when something makes no sense and you try to bring logic to it, like you start feeling like you're going nuts, right? And that's why often some situations you just need to get further away from, because then you look back and go, look at me, there I was. And I'm telling you right now, this is like a bit of the gift of the Mars energy. Like I see a lot of energy looking in the past being like, oh, look, there I was trying to explain myself, like trying to talk myself through staying in something that was awful, right? Like trying to explain, trying to like find logic in an unlogical situation, right? Like this is like that's why we talk about no is a powerful word, because when we're in a healthy space, we're able to honor that the gift that we have in partnership in any context is that we value what another person desires. And I see even now, like some of this energy coming into divine union is looking at a situation and saying, I crossed a line. And other energies looking at something and saying they crossed a line. And I'm going to say right now, there's some energy that's saying we both cross lines, because when we're in a space that we're feeling energetically triggered with someone that's not also doing the work, we can fall off of our path work very easily, because again, when we're matching energy, it just is a race to the bottom. So I feel like a lot of that energy is like taking the lesson of being discerning and mindful as they go. While for masculine and feminine energy, in separation right now, this is the energy that realizes that never again are they going to experience the things that they experienced before. I see this energy going, I couldn't go back to that situation if I tried. It's no longer romantic. I see this energy experiencing something in such a way that they're looking at something and going, I can't remember the part of me that found that sweet, right? Because often when we heal, we're surprised. We're like, what is, like, it feels transformative, but this is what we mean about transformative. We're like, I don't even recognize myself from like the energy that would have put up with that or tolerated that, right? It's not about it. And this is often the misconception. Like sometimes when we're in terrible situations, we're like, oh, I just need to heal enough that I can tolerate it. Recognizing that healed energy just wouldn't put up with it. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like we often get this misconception that says, oh, I just need to heal enough to be able to bear this burden, instead of being like, no, the healed energy just doesn't get themselves there, like doesn't put up with it. It's just like the healed energy is like, no, like healed energy is a space of honoring the no. Continuing to get clarification between the Empress energy and our Eight of Pentacles. Can I get one card to clarify? Yeah, like that, like this is like, that's a thing. Like that, and that's the, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, right? Like when another person says, oh, you just need to heal more to put up with something. Like what we really realize is when we heal from things, we go, no, I don't have to put up with it. Like we just, like, that's the thing about it. It's like, I feel like there's the moments, like sometimes we get those moments where someone is like operating in like a very, like in a place where nothing makes energetic sense. And then if you try to bring logic to it, they go, oh, you just need to, like what's wrong with you? Right? They make, like, it'll make you feel like you cannot bring logic. Trauma, we're going to talk about this, okay? You cannot heal trauma with logic. There is no force of logic that you can bring into a traumatizing situation that will fix it. You cannot explain, because the whole purpose of trauma is formed when someone is acting illogically, when something is happening that makes no sense. So often we get caught in these spaces where we're trying to heal something, failing to recognize that another person doesn't desire to heal. That if someone's coming towards us in a way that is not illogical, the best way to heal something is sometimes having to walk away from what doesn't make sense. Right? Like that's the thing about it. Healing is not about understanding everything. It's not about coming into that space of deep energetic compassion. It's understanding that when someone's not healed, they don't make sense. And the best thing you can do in that space is move away from them until they start making sense. That's all like it's really like it is like and that's like I keep on hearing like the guides are like don't get it twisted, right? You don't like your energy, you don't owe anyone your energy, right? Your energy is a gift, and when we're appreciative of it, we're not demanding from it. And so I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, I keep on hearing a lot of energy in separation, both trying to move forward while also having to navigate something from the past and having to say to someone, don't get it twisted. Don't try to change what happened. Don't try to make it seem like something that I've been healing from was sweet. Don't try to, like, I see like a lot of this energy having to work in that capacity. And it's recognizing that you heal when you stop trying to understand something. You just look at it and say, that doesn't make any sense. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You're not making any sense. While for masculine and feminine, and I see this energy literally building new connections with someone that says, I totally understand. Like, I can see this energy. Like, I see energy building new connections and being like, I am triggered in you. Literally, like, this is the energy that's being like, you talking about this is triggering me. Like, the energy is going, you talking about, like, this energy, like, you explaining it is triggering me, because someone's like, yeah, because we're on the same page. And that's why when someone goes, what are you talking about? You're like, we're not in alignment. Like, we are having different experiences. Continuing to get clarification between our Five of Pentacles and our King of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify. Yeah. And when we understand each other, we understand each other. And when someone comes towards you and you try to explain to them and they go, what? It's really hard, because in those moments you can't tell if someone literally does not understand, if they just have not worked through something, or if they're working in that space of being intentionally obtuse. But that's why the guides articulate and say a lesson, right? When we're working on something, we don't say to someone, I don't understand you. You say, help me understand, right? We don't say, you're not making sense. They say, help me, like let me get, like, walk me through it. Show me, like, like when we desire to learn something, we don't say to another, you're not making sense. We say, like, help me see. Like, okay, we say, help me see. It's the same exact message, you see? Help me see. Help me understand. Right? The curiosity that is the definition of an adept. Someone that is trying to learn. Right? And when someone says you're not making any sense, what they're really saying is, I am not inclined to learn. I'm either not inclined to learn because I don't understand, or I don't care. And the guides are clear. Like, unfortunately, the guides are clear on this. I know it's important to us, but it's the same energetic outcome. Whether someone is intentionally obtuse or whether someone is coming towards you in a space that they don't know, if they want to, they will ask. Like, if they ask the question, the ability to ask those, like, work through that in such a way that they're embodying the lesson, that they're trying to learn, you cannot replicate that. Because when we care, that fervency, it brings forth in us the desire to become the energetic student, right? And I feel like a lot of this energy here is like working through in separation. It feels like there's a lot of cycles that are closing, and they're not closing because someone's stopped caring. Right? That never happens. We never close a cycle by no longer caring. We have those moments when we look at another and say, I don't think you're committed to the same work. I don't think that we're working towards the same thing. Right? And we can leave it at that. Like, this is the energy that says closure comes in many forms. And so I see like a lot of energy right now building into that context of recognition, either about someone coming back from the past in the same way, and it feels like just a reaffirmation of what you received prior, or building into the concept of a new energetic connection where you're describing this occurring and another person being like I see the energy being like, I can't even listen because it's like the energy being like, I've experienced that too. Like the energy going, I know, like, trust me, I know. Like I see the energy like interrupting, like cutting ahead of each other as they talk about it, because they're like, yeah, I've been there. Right. And it's like that moment of being like, you say less. You like say, like, I already know, say less. Right. Continuing to get clarification between our King of Pentacles and its reversal in combination with our Queen of Swords and its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification again with our Five of Swords in its reversal. Some things you cannot fix. I know that's painful. I know that those who are on like healing journeys, the desire to fix everything is also something we need to heal from. Because when we want to fix something, we have to be observant that too can be a form of righteousness, right? We have to be observant as to whether another desires it to be fixed. You cannot heal someone that does not want to heal. If you try to give the force of healing to someone that does not desire it, it will come across as trauma. They will not understand. It will cause the same amount of pain. We have to be invested in our own healing. And if someone is not invested or desiring the healing that you're trying to put forth, that same energy, that same force becomes a negative force in their experience. This is why when we care about someone, we are not mindful about saying, why won't you let me love you? We say, how can I? What feels like love to you? Love is actively listening. Continuing to get clarification between our Queen of Swords in combination with our Death card in its upright. We've got here our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. It's frustrating. Yeah, when you start healing more, you're going to get much more frustrated about things. I like to point this out. Like, it's not that you're going to stop caring about things. You're going to be caring about things a lot more. Like, it's just more about the fact of, like, you know, like not allowing it to put you in the context. You recognize that frustration, like you're intentional about where you put your energy. Healthy, energetic, like healing is being intentional about where you put something, right? And that's why we also don't get in that space of projecting out, because, you know, when we do that, again, it all describes like all of these forces. When we like, all there is to say is when you're healing, you are intentional and mindful about where you put your energy. It is as complicated and as easy as that. And we are intentional. And when we're in a space of trying to build forth with someone and they can't give clarity as to where they're going, I like to point this out. Everybody has a dream. And we heal so that we feel that sense of security in ourselves to be able to share our dreams with each other. But when we're in that space, and this is why it's important for us to heal, because when we are not inclined to share our dreams, either one of two things are happening, right? Either we feel too much anxiety, we're not secure enough in ourselves to talk about what we want and aspire from another, right? We're too worried about rejection. Or we're fully secure in ourselves, but something we desire, we don't think another person desires. And that's why when we're not, like when someone is insecure, it feels like, I like to point out, like this is why it feels like scorpionic, because it's that moment of like you start building, you start losing. When someone is not coming towards us with a sense of confidence in the self, it makes us feel uncertain towards them. Because we say, I can't tell if you're coming towards me because you're energetically afraid, like you haven't worked through your own fear, or if because something that you desire is not something like you feel like I would be inclined to share with you, right? Like healing is the desire or the ability to share our dreams with one another. And I feel like that is really important. Like, and that's why I keep on seeing this energy that's looking back on something. And this is why I see some of that energy saying that was me or that was them. Right? And that's why I see even now that that's the energy that says I'm holding that apology if they're coming into a space of healing, because they're saying even now, like the ability or the desire to give someone an apology, it can also feel very self-serving. It feels good, but we have to be recognize if it's something that would feel good for another to receive, right? While for masculine and feminine, deep within divine union right now, it just feels frustrating. I just see a lot of energy deep within divine union being like, I wish I could have this conversation with that person, but I don't think they're energetically ready, right? Like a lot, like this is how we heal from trauma, is sometimes we have those moments and say, I'm sorry that you have to be the person I'm having this conversation with, right? But when we're in a space of healing, it's like us saying, like, I'm not projecting this on you. I'm working through it because I could never have that conversation with this person, right? And I keep on seeing, like, I see a lot of that energy saying, yeah, that's the difference between, like, and I need to point this out, being upset versus being obsessed, right? Like, I feel like a lot of energy when they're healthy, they're like, yeah, I'm still upset, but I can tell you why I'm upset. Like the energy going, this is why I'm upset. You can walk you through. But like when we're obsessed, we're like, I can't let go. And being like, but why? Be like, I can't let go. Be like, that seems like that seems not healthy, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Pentacles and its reversal in combination with our Five of Swords and its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Our Six of Cups and its reversal, right? It's a lot of the, there's a lot of this, like, there's something coming through across all of the frequencies that feels like that space of saying no hard feelings, right? And what do we identify when we say no hard feelings? It's not that we don't hold on to something that hurt us, right? But honestly, like, this is what we talk about when we talk about healing from like, this is what we talk about when we come into surrender or acceptance, right? Which is, I need to point this out, when we are in a healthy space, we either look back on something and say, I was not in a healthy space at that time. I did something that is out of alignment for myself. Or we look at someone and we say, they're operating a space that nothing they're doing makes any sense. That's usually a sign of being like they feel energetically lost. And we hope, we wish them well. Like, we come into those spaces and saying, I hope the day comes that they find the pathwork that'll allow them to proceed. But often, like, this is what we talk about when someone's like, this keeps happening. And being like, well, if something keeps happening, we don't feel like it's happening to us. We need to ask ourselves what we need to change within, right? And so I keep on seeing, like, I feel like I see a lot of this energy deep within divine union, potentially even articulating from something deep in the past. Old wounds, right? There's a lot of this energetic unpacking that's occurring. And I told you this is because the energy coming into divine union was doing this a few days ago. And now the energy deep within divine union's doing it. Saying, I never got to have that conversation. I never got to get that clarity. It still doesn't make any sense. It still bothers me, right? Because often trauma is formed when something doesn't make sense. And that ability of walking through it with another, this is how we heal, right? We identify and recognize what is possible to heal, like what needs to change within the self versus something that was happening to us. It's heavy work. It's constantly having to calibrate those scales. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, this is why the energy is recognizing, oh, it's about constant calibration, because again, it feels very scorpionic in terms of someone saying, I couldn't see something at the time. My past is changing because every time I arrive somewhere, my perception changes and I learn something more about myself. There's something incredibly beautiful about that journey, right? It's not the space. A lot of that work is the space that, like, the healthy energetic relationship with the self is one that we are always looking forward, but we're also looking back, because we're looking back and we're learning things as we go. Continuing to get clarification between our Five of Swords in combination with our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. Got two cards coming out right now. Yeah. The heart that hurts is the heart that works, right? Open palm, bearing the joy, the pain of the past, and the joy of understanding, right? It's not that things stop hurting. Healing, I hate to break it to you, healing is not the moment that everything stops hurting. Healing is the moment that everything starts making sense. Well, that is like the message that's coming through, like across all of the frequencies right now, right? It's not when it stops hurting. If it's like it's not a dissociation act. It's when there's clarity and understanding as to why. Final card for today's spread, between our Six of Cups and its reversal in combination with our Ace of Cups, in combination with our Nine of Swords and its upright. Woof! World and its reversal. Right? World and its reversal. And there's a lot to be said as it relates to, and the thing about it, like this is all that Pisces energy right now. It's a lot. And I'm going to keep saying this to everyone across all of the frequencies. You are not a burden. You are not a mess. Your emotions are not a burden. So long as, okay, and there's always a catch. And yeah, here's the thing. When there's a lot of fish, there's always a catch. Okay? Like, yeah. So you have to understand this, okay? You have to recognize, right? And a lot of this is there's always a catch, but they're saying it's a positive catch, right? Which is, again, your emotions are not a burden unless you are only communicating what they are instead of understanding why they are, right? When we tell someone this is how I feel, it doesn't help. It doesn't matter how you feel, right? I can't control how you feel about me. You can't control. We don't put the feelings in each other. We understand, we give each other, we do the internal algebra in understanding why we feel the way we feel, right? That is the catch, saying as long as you're doing that internal algebra, as long as you're coming to another and saying, I feel this way, this is what the emotions are asking for, then your feelings are never a burden. But only, but they will be, they'll feel like a burden to another if you're not doing that work, if you're just dumping the emotions on another's doorstep and saying, I feel like this and it's your fault. And simultaneously, having expectations for one another, right? Like the healthy relationship has intention with no expectation. But the catch is we actually are always expecting things, because when we build into a healthy partnership, the partnership is the consistency, and what we know is consistent as it relates to what we can expect from another. You can't fake the funk, right? Like you can't, like when someone's in a space, like when we are who we are and we love who we are, then we show up as we are. And that's where the force of love is, because this is the energy that says no expectations. But the truth is, and here's the catch, I know exactly what I can expect from you because I know you, right? That's the beauty of it. No expectations, because there's no expectations because I'm embracing the experience of you, right? And that is, and so for a lot of the energy deep within Divine Union right now, this is the energy that I just see the energy saying, it feels like it's frustrating because this is the energy saying, I wish I could do more. I wish I could be everywhere, but I can't. Like it's a lot of this but alas energy, right? And that's that energy and that's why I hear like the guides like saying like, don't worry, don't get overwhelmed feeling, don't concentrate on the direction of the ocean. Manage your drop, right? Manage that drop in the bucket. Worry about what you can worry about. Do what you can in accordance to it, and let go of the rest. Bottom of the deck. So yeah, here's the thing. 7 of Swords in its reversal, right? You know, I keep on hearing a little bit of this energy that says to a certain extent, it's like, it's not about, I keep on hearing something about saying it's not about not being upset. You know, I feel like there's a little bit of this misconception as it relates to healing that says, oh, I'll know that I'm healed when I stop feeling anything. I'm going to say it again. Healthy manifestation is not about a lack of feeling. It's about feeling everything and doing it regardless, right? It's not about, like, it's working in that, like, this is why it feels like Piscean in that way. Because if that's the energy, like, saying to oneself, oh, like, when we say, oh, I want to stop feeling something, we're looking at healing as an escape hatch, right? We're like, I'm looking for a way that I don't have to be here, right? Like, it's not the path work. I mean, it's a path, but it's never corrective, right? When we're in a good space, sometimes we carry something forward and we say, it's not about forgiving everything either, right? It's okay to say, like, I wasn't okay with that. It's being able to explain why. Because when the higher self reaches out to us and says, why are you still holding on to that? The higher self is listening, saying, show me who I am. Why is that important to you, right? Like, they're not saying it confrontationally. They're saying it inquisitively, right? And it's that understanding of the self, that awareness, that brings us closer to who we are and our higher self in the process. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site, so I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. Thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Wheel of Fortune. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, March 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Justice card. If you would like to become a part of our tarot class program, all you need to do is head over and become a paid subscriber to my Substack. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access as a monthly subscriber to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library. It's not necessary to catch up. The material is there for you to receive as you're ready to receive it. I will do my best to give you an update on everything that we've studied thus far in each class. You will also have access to, but now's a great time to join because you've got a lot of opportunity to catch up. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you will also receive full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me. You'll also have the opportunity to meet with me for a personal mentorship class. That is where we will sit together and I will assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and help you understand how best to utilize the classes and your personal practice to move towards your personal tarot goals moving forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your robust experience or your lack of experience prevent you from joining our classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings, services. I post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. I also want to let you guys know about, for those who are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me, I also offer mentorship classes. These classes can be purchased on a personal, these classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I will say I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal tarot, personal goals, and spiritual journey. Also, for my clients seeking more consistent Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent path work, I also offer reading packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings weekly or biweekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation reading packages now. Those can be purchased on an individual level per dream, or if you purchase the package, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will utilize the tarot and review that dream journal to understand the key messages and lessons coming through the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.